I was 13 when I found out I was an illegal alien. Not the green kind, not the Area 51 kind. The kind the government prints on a form. It happened at the kitchen table. My sister Samira, 3 years older, was filling out summer job applications. She had big plans. Then she set down her pen, turned to my father, and said something I will never forget. "Baba, we're not citizens. We can't get jobs." I laughed. Because obviously we were citizens. We lived in San Jose. We watched Fresh Prince. I had a Clearasil prescription. Americans get Clearasil. My father looked at the cake. He didn't touch it. He watched my sister think. Then he said very quietly, "Samira, she's too young." Samira turned to me. "We're illegal aliens," she said. And I said the only thing a 13-year-old can say. Holy shit. That one sentence implicated our whole family in a story I had never been told. Implicate. To show someone's involvement in something, usually wrongdoing. To implicate is to fold a person into a situation they cannot easily fold back out of. My sister, my parents, me, even my baby brother Kia, who was fine because he had been born on US soil. The rest of us, folded in, deep. Here is what I learned that afternoon. In 1982, my parents left Tehran. The Iran-Iraq War had just started. The regime was drafting teenage boys. My mother had a younger brother in California. They decided to leave. My mother took my sister and me first. I was 2. Samira was 5. My father followed 3 months later, with a bribe tucked into his passport. The plan was a tourist visa, then asylum, then paperwork, then citizenship. The plan worked right up until the asylum application got lost. Not denied, lost. Somewhere in the federal machinery, our file had disappeared. This is a real thing that happens to real families, and it is a weirdly lethargic kind of disaster. Lethargic, ADJ, sluggish and apathetic, lacking energy. Lethargic means slow, sluggish, lacking energy. From the Greek lethargos, drowsy, forgetful. A lethargic body won't get up. A lethargic bureaucracy won't move a folder. Our case was lethargic. No one was working on it. No one was against it. It was just a folder in a pile, failing to move. Years passed. My parents kept reapplying, kept paying lawyers. The paperwork moved the way glaciers move, technically, but not visibly. Meanwhile, my sister and I grew up American. We memorized the pledge. We argued about Home Alone. We were accidentally from California, and none of that counted. That week was the most contentious of my 13-year-old life. Contentious, AJ, causing or likely to cause an argument, controversial. Contentious means quarrelsome, controversial, something that pulls people into disagreement. From the Latin contendere, to strain against. A contentious topic is one you can't say out loud without somebody straining against somebody else. My sister and I fought about everything, about whether to tell our friends, about whether we were technically criminals or just technically in trouble, about whether our parents should have told us earlier. Every conversation touched a wire we didn't know was live. The secret debilitated us a little. Debilitate, V, to weaken greatly, to make feeble. To debilitate is to make weak. From the Latin debilis, feeble. A debilitating injury takes the strength out of a body. A debilitating secret takes the strength out of a story. You can't tell it. You can't forget it. You can't fix it. So you carry it, and every time you stand up, it is a little heavier. I started writing about it in my diary. I still have those pages. The handwriting is round and optimistic in a way that embarrasses me now. In one entry, I used the word unfair 13 times in one paragraph. The problem wasn't that my family had done something wrong. We hadn't. The problem was that the system itself felt, to 13-year-old me, like low-grade anarchy. Anarchy, N. A state of disorder due to absence of authority. Anarchy, archos, Greek, ruler, anarchy. Monarchy, hierarchy, oligarchy. Anarchy means the absence of rule. From the Greek en cure without and archos, ruler. Our situation wasn't chaos in the streets. It was the quieter kind. No one evil was in charge of our file, but no one at all seemed to be. My father tried never to denounce the United States in front of us, even when the latest lawyer letter arrived and he read it in silence and walked out to the garage. Denounce, v. To publicly declare someone or something to be wrong or evil. Denounce, nuntiare, Latin, to announce. Denounce, announce, pronounce, renounce. Denounce comes from d, down upon, plus nuntiare, to announce. To announce down upon someone, to speak against them publicly. The same root gives us announce, pronounce, and renounce. All four are ways of making something official by saying it out loud. My father never denounced America. He said this country had been kind to us in every way except this one. What he denounced instead was apathy. Apathy, and lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern. Apathy means not caring, an absence of feeling. From the Greek a, without, and pathos, feeling. Apathy is the opposite of passion. A kid with apathy shrugs. A country with apathy stops voting. My father was allergic to apathy. He filled out every form on time. He paid every lawyer. He did not shrug. The more lost our file became, the more tenacious he got. In the background, my mother was trying to appease my sister. Appease, v, to pacify or placate, to relieve or satisfy. Appease, pax, Latin, peace. Appease, peace, pacify, pact. To appease someone is to calm them down. From the Latin, pax, peace. The same root gives us peace, pacify, and pact. My mother made my sister's favorite tea. Let her sleep in. Promised over and over that the paperwork was moving. It didn't vex my sister less. It just moved the vex sideways. Vex, v. To make someone feel annoyed, frustrated, or worried. Vex means to annoy, to irritate. From the Latin vexare, to shake, to agitate. A vexing problem does not stab you. It shakes you steadily, until you are rattled. Samira was vexed. Our whole household was, constantly, vexed. Here is the thing about a vexing secret. It usurps other feelings. Usurps v, to take a position of power or importance illegally or by force. Usurp, surrepere, Latin, to seize secretly. Usurp, surreptitious, Ep22. To usurp is to take something that should not be yours. A throne, a title, attention. The seizing is unearned. What the secret usurped in our house was joy. A birthday, a graduation, a summer job application. Every small happy thing came with a small voice attached. But we might have to leave. The secret took the throne of every happy room. That afternoon, I looked at my father, and I looked at my mother, and I tried to see them as people who had done something wrong. They had not. They had been perfidious to no one. They had been vilified by no one who mattered. They had made one clandestine decision, to come. Every decision after it had been above board, paid for, filed, resubmitted. They were the least perfidious people I had ever met. The government wasn't vilifying them. It simply wasn't seeing them. They had built a quiet, formidable life out of paperwork that kept getting lost. And that life was sitting on the kitchen table with the Entenmann's cake. And it felt ominous in a way I had not known a kitchen could feel. I sat back down. I looked at my sister. We didn't hug. We weren't that kind of sister pair. Instead, she slid the stack of applications across the table and said, "You can't have one either, by the way." And I started laughing. I laughed so hard I couldn't breathe. Because what else do you do? In the next part, I grow up. I get acne. I get a nose. I get a diary entry about a boy in 9th grade English class that will never, ever leave my head. And somewhere, in a federal building I will never see, our folder moves 1 inch forward. 15 words. Lock them in. Implicate. To fold someone into blame or risk. Root, plicaire, to fold. Lethargic. Sluggish, drowsy, slow-moving. Root, lethargos, drowsy. Contentious, quarrelsome, likely to cause argument. Debilitate, to weaken greatly. Root, debiles, feeble. Anarchy, absence of rule or order. Root, archos, ruler. Denounce, to publicly declare wrong. Root, nuntiar, to announce. Apathy, lack of feeling or concern. Root, a, plus pathos without feeling. Appease, to calm or pacify. Root, pax, peace. Vex, to annoy, to shake steadily. Usurp, to seize what is not yours. Root. Surrepere, to seize secretly. +5 you already know, used today in context. Perfidious, vilify, clandestine, formidable, and ominous. In part 2, I grow up. The paperwork moves, and the diary entries get harder to explain. When I was 14, I kept a diary. I have it in front of me. Pink cover, silver heart. The first page says, "Do not read, I mean it. Samira, this means you." One entry. February 8th, 1995. It is about a boy in my 9th grade English class, my acne, my nose, my eyebrows, and whether my life is essentially over. It does not notably mention that I am an undocumented immigrant. Not because the citizenship thing had stopped mattering, because at 14, there are problems that feel like paperwork. And then there are problems that feel like your face. The boy in English class, I won't tell you his name. He's a nice guy. He grew up to be a dentist. Let's call him E. E sat 2 rows ahead of me, curly hair. He laughed at things our teacher said that weren't that funny, which I found compelling. He did not, to my knowledge, know I existed. I was in the middle of what my dermatologist called moderate cystic acne. Medical for your face is a geological event. I had a prescription, a drawer full of pink bottles. None of it seemed to alleviate anything. Word card, alleviate. V, to make suffering or a problem less severe. Word card, alleviate. Levare, Latin, to lift. Alleviate, elevate, levity, relieve. To alleviate is to lift the weight off a situation. From the Latin levar, to lift. The same root gives us elevate. Lift up, levity, lightness, and relieve, lift again. To alleviate pain is not to cure it. It's to lift some of it for a while. My acne would not be alleviated. It had moved in. It was signing a lease. On February 7th, my mother came to school to drop off my lunch. I had forgotten it on the counter. She found me between classes. E was standing next to me. And my mother, sweet and completely unaware. That I had spent 3 years engineering a version of myself where E did not know I existed, looked at my face and said, "Sarah June, do you want Baba to take you to get your eyebrows done? They are getting close in the middle." In front of E, I want to agitate for the 14-year-old I used to be, because no one else can. Word card. Agitate. V, Is to stir up, disturb, or make someone anxious. To agitate is to shake, to stir. From the Latin agitare, to set in motion. A washing machine agitates clothes. It shakes the dirt loose. An embarrassment can agitate a 14-year-old for weeks. That hallway moment agitated me for the rest of the semester. In my diary, I did not write, "This is a cultural misunderstanding between my loving mother and my self-conscious Americanized daughter self." I was 14. What I wrote was, and I quote, "Why would she say that?" underlined twice. Then I wrote that my mother had transgressed. Word card, transgress. Chakta V, to violate a rule, law, or moral boundary. Word card, transgress, gradi, Latin, to step. Transgress, digress. Ep20, progress. Transgress comes from trans, across, plus gradi, to step. To transgress is to step across a line you weren't supposed to cross. The same root shows up in digress. From episode 20 to step aside. Progress steps forward. Our feet are everywhere in our language. My mother had transgressed the invisible teenage line. Do not bring up my face in front of my crush. She did not know the line existed. That did not change the transgression. That night, I stood in the bathroom for 45 minutes, trying to correct what I imagined the entire 9th grade had noticed. I did not succeed. I looked at my reflection with disdain. Word card, disdain. N, the feeling that someone or something is unworthy of respect. Disdain means contempt, the feeling that something is beneath you. From the Latin dignus, worthy. To disdain is to say, in your heart, you are not worthy. I disdained my own reflection. I thought less of the face looking back at me than I would have thought of almost any other face. This is, for the record, a profound thing to do to a 14-year-old, even if the 14-year-old is doing it to herself. 2 weeks after the hallway incident, my father took me to the dermatologist. He did not bring up the cost, which was not small, for a family with one lost federal file and a small luggage business. On the way home, he said gently, "Sara, everyone's face is like this at 14. No one's is like this at 24. You do not need to lower yourself because of it." He did not say abase. He said lower. But that is exactly the word. Word card. Abase. V-stars to lower in rank, reputation, or self-respect, to humiliate. Abase means to lower, to bring down in dignity. From the Old French abaisser, to bring low, sharing a root with base, the bottom. To abase yourself is to put yourself beneath where you belong. My father, without using the word, was telling me not to abase myself. He would repeat that idea in different languages for the rest of his life. Somewhere around this time, my father also promised me a nose job. I know how that sounds, but in our family, rhinoplasty was not a vanity thing. It was an expected rite of passage, like a driver's license. Half of my cousins had one. The other half were considering it. My sister and I had each quietly been adding up how equitable the promise was. Word card. Equitable. AG, fair, just, impartial. Word card. Equitable. G, equus. Latin, equal. Equitable. Equal. Equity. Equanimity. Equitable means fair. Not just legally fair, but the kind of fair where everybody gets what they need. From the Latin equus, equal. The same root gives us equal, equity, and equanimity. Calmness, even in a storm. Equitable is a quieter word than fair. It pays attention. My father's promise was equitable. Whichever of us wanted the nose job first would get it first. Neither of us would be forced. I want to come back to the citizenship thing, because that is the other story inside this one. For years, my view of our situation was narrow. I was, to borrow a word from the eye doctor, myopic. Word card, myopic, dark, ADJ, short-sighted, nearsighted, literally or figuratively. Word card, myopic, myon plus ops, Greek, to close, plus eye. Myopic, myopia, optic, optometry. Myopic comes from myon, to close, plus ops, eye. A myopic person has to squint, eyes closing a little to see far away, literally, nearsighted. Figuratively, someone who can only see what's right in front of them. I was myopic in every sense. I saw my face, I saw my crush, I saw my diary. I could not see my parents, 6 feet away, carrying the real weight of our family. While I was looking in the mirror, my parents kept working. Every year they were a little older and a little more tenacious. My father, once a month, delivered a harangue to whichever lawyer he was currently paying. Word card, harangue. N, a lengthy and aggressive speech, a tirade. A harangue is a long, forceful speech, usually scolding. From the old Italian aringa, a speech from a platform. A harangue is longer than a lecture, louder than a complaint, almost always one-sided. My father delivered a harangue every time a lawyer said, "Be patient." And me, I stayed diffident. Word card, diffident, adj, modest, shy, or lacking in self-confidence. Diffident means shy, unsure. From the Latin dis, apart from, plus fidere, to trust. To be diffident is, at its root, to lack trust in yourself. A confident person trusts their own judgment. A diffident person keeps checking. I was diffident about my face, my voice, whether I belonged, in any room I walked into. The citizenship secret and the 9th grade English class and the acne and the unibrow all rolled together into one long, quiet insecurity. And then, when I was 20, a letter came. Green card, approved. 18 years after my parents filed for asylum. The federal government finally saw us. I was at UC Berkeley. I walked back to my dorm with the letter in my backpack. I didn't open it right away. I kept checking my bag to make sure it was still in there. 6 years after that, I took the oath. I became a citizen at 26. Nobody at the ceremony knew the backstory. Nobody censured my parents for the 14 years they had lived here without papers. Nobody admonished them. Nobody called what they had done insolent. Word card, censure. Vivar, to express formal disapproval of someone's actions. Censure means formal disapproval, the official version of I do not approve, from the Latin censura, judgment. A Roman censor literally rated people, their reputation, their character. A senator can be censured. Nobody censured my parents. They filled out every form. The judge simply shook their hands. Here is what I want to say to my 14-year-old self sitting on the bed in San Jose. With the clearasil and the tweezers and the underlined why would she say that's. The face will calm down. The paperwork will come through. The boy in 9th grade English class will become a dentist. You will write books. Your parents are not doing anything wrong. They are doing the hardest, slowest, most respectful version of a thing nobody should have had to do. They are not rebels. They are waiting in line. It is a very long line. And you are not a rebel without a green card. You are a kid with a green card coming, eventually, in the mail. If your face is your geological event right now, you will be okay. If your paperwork is lost right now, your parents are tenacious. If there is a boy in your 9th grade English class, he is not the point of your life. The point is the diary. The point is that you wrote it down. Word recap, 30 words, 20 new. 10 review, lock them in. From part 1, implicate, to fold someone into blame. Root, placaire to fold. Lethargic, sluggish, drowsy, contentious, quarrelsome. Debilitate, to weaken greatly. Anarchy, absence of rule. Root, archos, ruler, denounce, to declare wrong. Root, nuntiare, to announce. Apathy, lack of feeling. Root, pathos, feeling. Appease, to pacify. Root, pax, peace. Vex, to annoy, to shake. Usurp, to seize what is not yours. Root, surrepere. From part 2, alleviate, to lighten, to lift off. Root, levare, to lift. Agitate, to stir, to shake up. Root, agitare, to set in motion. Transgress, to step across a line. Root, gradi, to step. Disdain, contempt, to consider unworthy. Root, dignus, worthy. Abase, to lower in dignity. Equitable, fair, balanced. Root, equus, equal. Myopic, nearsighted, literally or figuratively. Root, Mayan plus ops. Harangue, a long, forceful, scolding speech. Diffident, shy, unsure. Root, dis. Plufidere, lacking trust. Censure, formal disapproval. Root, censura, judgment. +5 you already know. Use today in context. Compelling, profound, tenacious, admonish, and insolent. If this helped you see your own paperwork, your own teenage self, or SAT vocabulary a little differently, subscribe for a new episode every week.